Lesson 15, I will understand and solve division problems with a remainder using the array and area models. Go ahead and get out your math journal today, and I want you to label it today's date, Lesson 15, Division Problems with Remainders. Today we're going to be talking about what happens when division problems have remainders. It's a continuation of what we did yesterday. So the first thing I want you to do in your math journal is I want you to draw an array to represent 10 divided by 2. To explain to your partner how you solve it, I want you to just go ahead and represent 10 divided by 2 in your math journal, and I want you to come back and check to see if you got it correct. Okay, this is how I drew 10 divided by 2. So you can see I have 10, and I took it and put it into two separate groups, and 10 divided by 2 would equal 5. So I have two groups, and there are 5 in each group. Now, I want you to come to me in the classroom, wherever you are, and I want you to get a piece of graph paper. I want you to cut out a piece of graph paper. I'll show you how to do this, but I want you to cut a piece of graph paper out and glue it into your math journal because you're going to need graph paper for this next part. We're going to be using the area model to help us to divide. So once you get your graph paper and you get it glued into your math journal, here's what I want you to do. I want you to draw a rectangle just like the one that you see here. And it's really important that you count the squares and that the squares in your math journal are exactly as many as in mine. Because if you notice, if you come over here, I have a row of 2, and then you can see that there are 10 squares inside this rectangle. It must be exactly like that. You can see when I drew this that I drew it on the lines. You have to draw it on the lines. You can't just do like this. It has to be on the lines. So as soon as you do that, I want you to think to yourself, okay, well, if the area of this rectangle is 10 and the width is 2, then what does the length have to be? Well, the length has to be 5, right? It has to be 5 because 5 times 2 is 10. Plus, you could just have counted, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how do you find the unknown length? Well, you could use division. You could say 10 divided by 2 equals 5, just like we did with our array. Okay, well, what would you do if you were going to draw an area model to represent 11 divided by 2? All right, so on your graph paper, we're going to draw 11 square centimeters. So we're going to draw a rectangle that has an area of 11 square centimeters. So I'm going to try to do this. So it's really important that the width is 2, just like in the last one. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And then I have to draw 1, 4, just like that. So that is what your model would look like for 11 divided by 2. All right. Now, let's think of an equation that we can use to solve this. Okay, we can do 11 divided by 2. So I'm thinking to myself, what times 2 equals 11? Nothing times 2 equals 11, but I can get as close to 11 as possible. As a matter of fact, I can do this rectangle right here. And I know that 5 times 2 equals 11. So 11 divided by 2 would be 5 with 1 left over. Okay, let's try one more. This time I want you to draw, you're going to use your graph paper, and I can see that it's 16 divided by 3. So when I draw my rectangle, I have to have a width of 3. So when I go like this is 3 has an area of 3, an area of 6, an area of 9, an area of 12, an area of 15. But if I go one more, it'll be 18. So I'm going to have to stop right here at 15, and then I'm going to have to put the leftover right here. So now we can label this. I've got an area of 16 still. I have a width of 3. And my length would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nothing times 3 equals 16. So I'm trying to get as close to 16 as I can. And as close to 16 as I can would be 15. So 5 times 3 is 15. So when I solve the problem, 16 divided by 3, the answer would be 5 with a remainder of 1. I know may seem a little bit confusing to you right now, but when we do the problem set, it's going to help you greatly and to practice this problem along with me, okay? All right, so we're going to do one more. I know I said the last one was the last one, but I changed my mind. All right, so we're going to do one more, and this time we're going to try to do 23 divided by 4. So our width is 4, so when we do our rectangle, we're going to try to get as close to 23 as we can. So this will be 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, but this will be 24, which is too much. So I'm going to have to stop right here at 20, and then I'm going to have 3 left over. So when I go to label my area model, it's going to look like this. I've got an area of 23, and I have a width of 4. So this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 groups of 4, which is 20, and I have a remainder of 3. So 23 divided by 4 equals 5, remainder 3. And now we're going to take a look at our problem set. Why don't you go ahead and write your name on it? Okay, so we have 18 divided by 6, and we're going to show division using an array, and then we're also going to show division using an area model. And I think this would be very helpful for you to be able to make the connection between an array and an area model. So first of all, let's go ahead and do 18 divided by 6 in an array. So I'm going to go ahead and get my pen here together, and if you feel like you know how to do this, you can go ahead and do it. So I'm going to make groups of 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So that's my 3 groups of 6. One, two. I really am trying to do that neatly. I know it doesn't look like it. So 18 divided by 6, my quotient would be 3, and I had none left over, so I'd have a remainder of 0. So now I'm going to do the exact same thing, only this time I'm going to use an area model. Now I have the benefit of being able to use this tool that will make mine look nice and neat. You're going to have to use your pencil and do it very neatly. So since it's 18 divided by 6, I'm going to have a width of 6. I have to count down 6 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this will be 6, 12, 18. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and label my area model. Area is 18. I have a length of 6, and I have a width of 3. So can you show 18 divided by 6 with one rectangle? The answer is yes, because there's no remainder. We only have to do one rectangle. Go ahead and try 19 divided by 6. I'm going to create my array. I'm going to pause the video and create the array. I want you to create your array as well. Okay, so this is my array. So you can see that I have groups of 6. I ended up with 3 groups of 6, and I had 1 left over. So my quotient is still going to be 3 because I have 3 6s, but my remainder this time will be 1. Can you show 19 divided by 6 with one rectangle? So the answer to this would be no. Let's go ahead and display that so that we can explain how we show the remainder. So when I get my rectangle, I still have to have a width of 6, so that's 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to have 6, 12, 15, 6, 6, 12, 18, excuse me, 18. And then here is my 1 left over. I'm going to go ahead and label this. So the area is 19. I have a width of 6 and a length of 3, and I have a remainder of 1. Explain how you show the remainder. So the way that we show the remainder was, start off with I show the remainder, adding 1. That's basically how we showed our remainder, right? We added a rectangle that had 1 square because we had a remainder. Okay, so let's move on. We're going to do the same thing. And this example is really helpful because it gives you an idea of what's expected of you. It says to solve using an array and an area model, and you'll notice that this time they took away our graph paper, so we're just going to do it without the graph paper. The first one is done for you. So for 25 divided by 2, they took 25 and they put them into groups of 2. And they said that the quotient was 12 with the remainder of 1. And then here's the area model. So we've got 29 divided by 3. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to draw our array like we have been doing. So we're going to be putting these into groups of 3. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 26, 27, 28, 29. Now I'm not going to circle my group. I could, but I don't need to do that at this point because it's a little bit time consuming. I can clearly see my groups of 3. And all I have to do is go through here and see how many groups of 3 I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 groups of 3. This is not left over. So when I go to a quotient and remainder, instead of writing out the whole word quotient and the whole word remainder, I'm just going to abbreviate. So I'm going to say my quotient, Q by the way. My quotient was 9, because if you remember, I went through and I counted 9 groups of 3, and I have a remainder of 2 because I have 2 left over right here. So now I'm going to draw my area model. So I have an area of 29, a length of 9, and I have a width of 3. 9 times 3 would be 27, and then I have a remainder. So 9 times 3 is 27. I have 2 left over. All right, let's do the same thing for 22 divided by 5. So let's get our highlighter. We're going to draw our array. I think this time I'll use a different color. We're going to do groups of 5. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay, so let's stop and think about this for a minute and think about what our quotient or remainder would be. I want you to try to figure out the quotient or remainder by yourself. So go ahead and just label this Q and R and see if you can figure out what is the quotient and what is the remainder based on this array. That's pretty much what we did in yesterday's lesson. And then come back and check and see if you got the same thing. All right, so for quotient, if I go through, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of 5. So my quotient is 4, and my remainder is 2 because I had 2 left over. Now I'd like for you to try to draw the area model. See if you can figure out what the area model looks like, and then come back. If you're really confused, you don't know what to do, you can do it with me and try to do the next one by yourself. Okay, so my area is 22, my width is 5, and my length would be 4, or it could be reversed, but it still would be the same. So I'm going to end up with my remainder of 2. 4 times 5 would be 20, and I have a remainder of 2. See if you can try to do this one by yourself. I want you to pause the video and try to at least do the tape diagram, or excuse me, at least try to do the array by yourself. I'm going to pause the video and draw my array. Okay, so if you go through, I have groups of 4. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 groups of 4, and then I have 1 group of 3. So when I go through here and I'm going to do my quotient, my remainder, I hope that you went ahead and did the quotient remainder by yourself. I hope that you got the same thing as me. I'm going to write it up here because I kind of ran out of room. So my quotient would be 10 because I have 10 groups of 4, and my remainder would be 3 because that's how many I had left over. I hope that you went ahead and drew your area model. If not, pause the video and go ahead and attempt to do that now and see if you can label it the same as me. So my area would be 43, and I would have a length of 10, and I would have a width of 4, and then I have 10 times 4 is 40, plus 3 would be 43. All right, if you have not attempted to do any of these by yourself, I hope that you will attempt to do number 6 by yourself. I'm going to pause the video and draw my tape, or excuse me, draw my array. Okay, so mine's not exactly the neatest. I hope that yours can be nice, have nice even rows. But if you will take a look, you can still see where my groups of 7 are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 groups of 7. and then I have a remainder. So my quotient, my quotient would be 8. My remainder, 3. I should have put it equal. I hope that you went ahead and attempted to draw your area model. And notice I'm going to make this a little bit square because these two numbers are pretty close together. This would be a 7, and this would be an 8. My area is 59, and I have a remainder of 3. So 8 times 7 is 56, and I have 7, 58, 59. So 59 divided by 7 would be 8, remainder 3. I hope that you will have an easy time with your exercise. Let me know when you're finished.